David Miller and Sarah Miller enjoyed a life that seemed perfectly etched from a suburban dream.
Their home in a quiet Dallas, Texas neighborhood stood as a testament to their shared success, a sanctuary adorned with the laughter of their 5-year-old daughter, Lily.
David, a meticulous software engineer, and Sarah, a driven project manager in marketing, navigated their demanding careers with a seamless partnership, always envisioning a future rich with shared moments and growing dreams.
Lily, with her bright, inquisitive eyes, remained the undisputed center of their universe, her innocent joy illuminating every corner of their meticulously planned existence.
Their perfect tableau, however, was unknowingly poised on the precipice of an unforeseen shift.
The unexpected arrival of Emily Johnson into their lives marked the first tremor.
Emily, a cherished childhood friend of David's from Austin, Texas, had recently relocated to Dallas for a new professional opportunity, rekindling a deep, nostalgic bond with David.
His delight was palpable, leading him to immediately extend an invitation for her to join them for dinner, an eager reintroduction into his current world.
Sarah, ever the gracious host, offered a warm welcome, yet an almost imperceptible unease began to stir within her as she observed their interaction.
She noticed the casual inside jokes, the knowing glances, and the shared history that formed an exclusive narrative, one in which she had no part.
Emily's presence swiftly escalated from an occasional guest to a recurring fixture in their domestic landscape.
She seamlessly integrated into their routines, participating in weekend picnics, frequent dinner gatherings, and even dropping by unannounced with an easy familiarity.
David, oblivious to the subtle currents of discomfort rippling through his wife, simply reveled in the renewed closeness of an old friend, his happiness untempered by any nascent apprehension.
Sarah, however, felt an unsettling sensation of becoming an outsider within her own home, a silent observer in the unfolding drama of her own marriage.
She watched Emily effortlessly weave into David's life, and with each passing moment, a tiny, insidious seed of doubt took root deep within her heart.
This unsettling feeling, initially a faint whisper, gradually began to demand more of her attention.
Emily's integration into David's daily life became increasingly pronounced, transforming her into an almost indispensable presence.
Their professional paths, though separate, frequently overlapped as they shared lunch breaks, collaborated on late-night work sessions, and exchanged a constant stream of messages.
Sarah, attempting to navigate her growing discomfort with a delicate touch, began to voice her concerns to David, hoping for understanding.
David, however, consistently dismissed her anxieties as unfounded jealousy or an overactive imagination, reassuring her that Emily was merely like a sister to him, and that she was simply overthinking everything.
His reassurances, meant to soothe, only served to deepen Sarah's internal struggle. External events soon conspired to amplify Sarah's burgeoning insecurities.
A challenging project at David's company plunged him into a period of intense stress and long hours, a professional crisis that Emily, with her extensive background in the tech industry, was uniquely positioned to understand.
She offered practical advice and unwavering support, a type of assistance Sarah, with her different professional expertise, could not replicate, making David increasingly reliant on Emily.
This growing dependence left Sarah feeling inadequate and sidelined, unable to fully support her husband in his moment of need.
Another evening, Sarah returned home late after picking Lily up from daycare, only to find David and Emily ensconced on the sofa, engrossed in an old film, their laughter echoing intimately through the quiet house.
Emily, startled by Sarah's entrance, quickly moved to stand, but the image of their shared closeness, a fleeting glimpse of a world she felt excluded from, seared itself into Sarah's memory, fueling her worst imaginings.
Desperate for an objective perspective, Sarah confided in her older sister, Jessica, who resided in Houston, Texas.
Jessica, though well-intentioned, offered stern and unyielding counsel, urging Sarah to assert control over her marriage and inadvertently reinforcing Sarah's deepest fears.
David, meanwhile, grew increasingly defensive and irritable in the face of Sarah's unspoken suspicions, often retreating further into Emily's company, perhaps as an escape from the palpable tension at home.
Emily, for her part, maintained an air of innocent unawareness, occasionally offering conciliatory gestures to Sarah, which Sarah, in her heightened emotional state, perceived as either condescending or a display of smug self-satisfaction.
The unspoken conflict permeated their once harmonious household, casting a heavy pall over their shared existence.
The escalating tension inevitably began to affect Lily, the innocent barometer of their domestic atmosphere.
The previously joyful home grew heavy with an unspoken strain, and minor disagreements flared more frequently, despite David and Sarah's futile attempts to shield their daughter from the underlying discord.
Lily's bright eyes often held a flicker of confusion, sensing the shifts in her parents' moods, the quiet arguments that punctuated their days.
The once vibrant tapestry of their family life began to unravel, thread by painful thread.
The fragile piece of their home shattered irrevocably on their 8th wedding anniversary.
Sarah had meticulously planned a romantic dinner, a hopeful attempt to rekindle the warmth that had slowly faded between them, setting the table with their finest china and preparing David's favorite meal.
Just as the evening was meant to begin, David received an urgent call from Emily, her voice conveying a personal crisis of significant magnitude, perhaps a sudden job loss or a minor accident.
Without hesitation, David abandoned the carefully curated anniversary celebration, explaining that Emily had no one else in Dallas, and rushed to her side.
Sarah watched him leave, her heart sinking with a profound sense of betrayal that transcended mere disappointment.
When David eventually returned, the house was thick with an oppressive silence that preceded an inevitable storm.
A furious argument erupted, words laced with years of unspoken resentment and burgeoning suspicion.
Sarah, her voice raw with pain, accused David of betraying not only her trust but the very foundation of their marriage, prioritizing Emily above her and their family.
David vehemently denied any wrongdoing, his own frustration boiling over, accusing Sarah of being consumed by groundless jealousy and a desire to control him.
He insisted that her irrational suspicions were actively destroying a perfectly innocent friendship.
In the throes of her despair and profound hurt, Sarah delivered a desperate ultimatum, her voice trembling but resolute.
She declared that David had to choose, that it was either Emily or their marriage, a stark, agonizing choice that hung heavy in the air between them.
David stood frozen, the impossible decision starkly laid before him. His world suddenly cleaved into two irreconcilable halves.
The weight of her words pressed down on him, leaving him stunned and speechless.
The immediate aftermath of Sarah's ultimatum settled over their Dallas home like a suffocating shroud.
David and Sarah began to live separate lives under the same roof, the forced proximity a constant, painful reminder of the chasm that had opened between them.
The house, once filled with Lily's innocent laughter and the comfortable hum of their shared life, now echoed with a chilling silence, punctuated only by the strained politeness of necessary interactions.
David, unable to bear the oppressive atmosphere, temporarily moved into the guest room, the distance offering little solace from the emotional turmoil.
In the quiet solitude of his new arrangement, David was finally forced to confront the stark reality of their situation, to seriously reflect on the events that had led them to this precipice.
He began to grasp the depth of Sarah's pain, recognizing his own profound insensitivity and the extent to which he had neglected her feelings.
He sought out Emily, explaining the devastating impact her presence had inadvertently caused, and Emily, overwhelmed with a sense of unintended guilt and confusion, expressed her remorse.
She began to consider how she could create necessary distance, acknowledging her role in the marital discord, however unintentional.
Sarah, meanwhile, grappled with an overwhelming sense of betrayal and a profound loss of trust, caught in a torturous cycle of self-doubt.
She questioned whether her reactions had been excessive, or if David had indeed betrayed her in ways she couldn't fully articulate, a subtle erosion rather than a blatant act.
She sought solace in renewed conversations with Jessica, her sister's unwavering support a small comfort, yet she still felt utterly alone and deeply wounded.
The emotional weight of her shattered expectations pressed down on her, creating a suffocating sense of isolation.
An external development offered an unexpected shift in the narrative.
Emily, keenly aware of the severe rift her presence had caused in a family she had never intended to harm, made a decisive move to withdraw.
She received and accepted a job offer in San Antonio, Texas, providing a clear and natural reason for her departure from Dallas.
This decision, though not a resolution to David and Sarah's issues, created the much-needed space for them to confront their own fractured relationship without the constant shadow of a third party.
Her absence, while not a solution, was a critical development, removing the immediate external pressure.
After days of agonizing reflection, David finally approached Sarah, his demeanor subdued and contrite.
His apology was not for any perceived betrayal with Emily, but for his profound failure to understand, to listen, and to truly value Sarah's emotions.
He acknowledged his part in the breakdown of their trust, admitting that he needed to learn how to actively rebuild what had been so carelessly eroded.
He tentatively suggested they seek marriage counseling, a fragile olive branch offered in the dim light of their lingering despair.
David and Sarah tentatively began attending marriage counseling sessions, their shared journey toward healing stretching out long and arduous before them.
The therapist's office in Dallas became a neutral ground where their raw emotions and unspoken grievances could finally be laid bare, a necessary but painful process.
Rebuilding trust, once shattered by neglect and misunderstanding, presented a formidable challenge, akin to meticulously piecing together a delicate mosaic from countless broken fragments.
The road ahead was undeniably steep, filled with the potential for both painful revelations and tentative steps toward reconciliation.
Emily, now physically distant in San Antonio, no longer represented a direct threat to their marriage, her presence having receded into a fading memory.
Yet, the lingering shadow of her relationship with David and the profound arguments it had ignited continued to hover in the air between them, a spectral reminder of their past wounds.
The emotional scars remained, a testament to the fragile nature of their bond and the ease with which it had been compromised.
Her departure had removed a catalyst, but not the underlying issues.
The final scene unfolded in their Dallas living room, or perhaps within the quiet confines of the counseling office, the space imbued with a heavy, expectant silence.
David and Sarah sat opposite each other, their physical proximity a stark contrast to the emotional chasm that still yawned between them, a silent testament to the work yet to be done.
Their gazes met, holding a complex tapestry of emotions, a flicker of hope, the weight of lingering resentment, and a profound, unsettling uncertainty about their future.
The overarching question remained, hanging suspended in the air between them. Could trust, once so deeply eroded not by overt betrayal but by a gradual erosion of understanding and emotional neglect, ever truly be restored?
The destiny of their marriage and Lily's small family remained an open, poignant question mark, its resolution hidden in the mists of an uncertain tomorrow.